listening to ASOTU CON Sessions by Effectv, live from ASOTU CON 2023.
Thanks for tuning in to this next episode of ASOTU CON Sessions presented by Effectv here at ASOTU CON 2023. And we get a chance to catch up with Ashley Cavazos, who is the marketing director at DeMontrond Automotive Group. And recently you just relocated back to Texas. So how cool is that?
It's so cool to be back with one in our home state, right? We've been gone for 10 and a half years.
How cool.
We typically, while we've been living in Minnesota, we would go home once a year.
Sure.
And now that we've been back, we've been home every other weekend. We've been back to see our family, which is so cool because you miss out on a lot of time. And it's great to kind of just go down, drive by the water and see the Gulf. And it is hot, but you know, it's where family is.
Yeah.
And it's Texas. What can get better than that?
Yeah, sure. And for those who don't know you, you are super passionate about diversity within the automotive industry. In a variety of ways. So let's talk about WOCAN for a second.
Yeah, definitely. As a Latina and a woman of color, I've been really fortunate. Actually, we were just talking about this with Duran and with Dana in our session with Cirillo. But, having somebody give me a chance to be where I am and why I'm here today, sitting with you,
Sure.
Means a lot, right? Somebody saw something in me and they wanted to develop me and help me grow in my career and show me what what the possibilities are for us.
And the opportunity for you.
And the opportunity for me, but, also like just for others and actually being able to showcase my talents, right? Things that I didn't know that were in me. And they were like, hey, did you know because of this, you can actually do this? And I'm like, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. And so with that, we had this amazing organization called WOCAN, Women of Color Automotive Network, that Carrie Wise and Patrice Banks and Erica Tiffany Wells and Amanda Gordon founded in 2020. And I'm on their executive board. And it's just so cool to be a part of this organization. We have over 800 members that are a part of it. And just
3 years old with 800 members.
800 members and 3 years old, right? And it continues to grow. Yeah. We're getting ready for our second annual event, which is so cool. We're going to be at NAMAD in Miami. I don't know. I'm pretty pumped with where we are and the growth that we've had even this year. We've built committees within the organization because we needed help. Yeah. We have a demand for members. They wanted more engagement with us, and we're like, okay, let's figure out what we need to do. And we're a nonprofit, right? So everything that we do is volunteerism.
Sure.
And so we've got people with these full-time jobs and these big positions, and they're taking time out of their day at home to help build and grow WOCAN to recruit and retain and attract more women of color to automotive.
How cool. So WOCAN obviously has a very similar to initiative of what we're trying to do with ASOTU, because we've got a community that we know needs to be able to grow and collaborate together. And the people that need to learn from each other, network, connect, and then just find the best in opportunities for the industry. And I mean, you've had a huge experience, not only with where you're at now, but also with Walser for that. So it's so cool when someone like you can bring so much value to other people in this great industry.
Yeah, it is really cool. I love what ASOTU stands for. I love what y'all are doing, bringing people who are wanting to change the reputation of automotive and the industry and are wanting to say, look at us. We are different. We're not what you thought we are. Yeah. And we're here and we're successful. We have awesome people, and check out what it's like to be in the industry. And it's pretty cool to see what y'all do with highlighting what we're doing in the industry, like Walser, right? I was at Walser for almost 4 years, and we did some really incredible things, and they are doing incredible things continuously, right? But having their ERGs like Women of Walser and Drive with Pride and the Asian Lung Alliance, and this place where, as I said, in my session, where I was told for the first time, bring your whole self to work. And that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. It's very empowering because when you're in a good organization, they want you to be the best version of you so that you're really hitting on all cylinders all the time. And it's not like you go to work and you're your work self and then you go home and you're a different self at home. It's literally, you're who you are all the time, which is so cool.
It is. And because of that, now I get to take that on with me, right? And I get to talk about it here, and their employees are talking about it, and I get to bring it to my new group. And I've learned from the people aspect of that, what we need to hear. And I think that's what needs to happen, is that collaboration.
That's right.
And how critical it is, right? For us to connect and talk about, what we're doing internally to thrive our employees and having them feel happy and just having them have fun at work, and then taking that on back to, your jobs and your dealerships and your, service departments, collision centers, whatever it is you're doing in automotive, right? But taking that back with you and expanding it and just letting it grow and grow from there.
Yeah, that is so cool. So you just had a great session with, obviously you were there, Ashley, there was Dana Cleve.
Was
and also
I there?
Yeah. And then also we had Duran Cage in that group for that session. So let's talk about some key takeaways. What was your favorite thing that you guys talked about during your session?
You're going to have me pick one?
Yeah, well, what do you want to do, 20? I had like 25 things.
We talked about so much. I think the really cool thing is what we all said unanimously is where you start to build a career path with your employees is communication.
Sure.
And I think that is a key part, is asking them what they want. What do they see for themselves? Are they happy with what they're doing? And actually just starting that conversation, and also going back to them with, from the top down, here what the plans for the company are. Here's where the leadership sees us going. Here's where we see you going. Here's the feedback we have for you. I think the key part of it that we got from that conversation is communication, and it goes both ways.
Sure.
Not just asking your employees, but going back to them as well.
Yeah. One of the cool things we set up at ASOTU Con is the opportunity for multiple people to be on stage talking about a very similar topic. And so I was catching up with Dana Cleve after yours, and I said it's really cool how here we are, we're all moving in the same direction, but there's different lanes and there's different ways to do things. And it's so cool to hear from multiple perspectives on how to do that. And one of the things that Dana brought up was like scorecards and coming up with opportunities for growth, but also like seeing strengths. So you said communication is key for employees and really trying to figure out where they're going next. What are some things that you guys work on at DeMontrond?
So we're just getting into the beginning of it, which is
there's a reason they brought you there, right?
Yeah, I'm so excited because coming into DeMontrond, and obviously I've been there 3 months. I'm learning all the avenues of everything. What have we been doing? Where have we been? Where do we want to go? But one of the things that became very apparent to me is they launched their CRM about a year ago.
Sure.
And I asked questions that a lot of people didn't know the answers to, because it was a new CRM for me.
Sure.
And I know CRMs. I do not know this CRM, right? And so I'm trying to understand it, and I'm asking what I think are simple questions, and people couldn't answer them for me. And I'm like, you know what? I think we need to do a retraining, and we need to do a workshop.
Oh, I see. So you were asking employees that
I
were
was
supposed to be using the tool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was asking them, like, how do I do this? And they're like,
Sure.
Well, I think you go here. I'm like, okay, red flag. So what I did is I brought them all in centrally to our corporate office, and I did a CRM workshop with every single salesperson, sales manager, and GM. We brought them all in, and we did some training with them.
Sure.
DeMontrond's been in business we're celebrating 70 years in business. And I had salespeople who have been with us for 20 years. And they're like, in my 20 years, I have never been brought in for training before. And I was like, oh, okay. And it's not a bad thing, right? They've been very successful. But for me, my superpower is change management, implementation of processes. I'm like, okay, we haven't done training. We're going to continue this path, right? And I need to start building processes and giving them guides of how to do things. We launched a new DR tool.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give y'all one pager. And they were like, oh my gosh, like, this is so cool. So this tells me exactly how I need to talk to the customer. I'm like, yes. And it's just those little things that we're starting to build that I'm so excited to know how successful that we are and how much more we're going to be as we just get these roots grounded in us and develop our people even more, right? And get some processes built and enhance the customer experience.
How cool. So you've gone through a ton of changes recently at DeMontrond. What were one of the biggest struggles that you've had to go through? How did you overcome it? And what advice would you give to someone that's probably going through something similar?
There's a few things.
It's not ezy to launch a new tool.
It's not easy, and not even just a tool, like being in a new company and new people. I will tell you this, and I'm going to be quite honest with you. The biggest challenge for me has been getting to know new faces And not on the dealership side. I know that's going to happen with DeMontrond, but not only am I having to learn a new team, I have to learn new vendor reps.
That's true.
Right? And I'm having to rebuild those relationships, which I was pretty rooted in. I was in Minnesota for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I was at the Maury's Automotive Group for almost 7. I was with Walzer for almost 4, all in the Twin Cities. I've gotten to know my reps really, really well. And now I'm in a new market and I've got to learn, one, the demographic, but also I have to get to know new people. And that to me has probably been the biggest struggle, because I need to learn kind of their habits and how, they work, but they also need to learn mine. Now I'm in this new role as a marketing director. I'm getting calls all the time. And I'm like, by the way, I finally just said to everybody, by the way, the best way to communicate with me is through text. If you want to get a hold of me, shoot me a text. I'm not going to read your email right away. And most likely not going to answer your phone call because I'm busy talking to somebody. So just shoot me a text if it's crucial. And they're like, okay, that was super helpful. So I think that has probably been one of the biggest struggles, is trying to just rebuild those relationships, because, our vendors are our partners and I have to work with them very closely. And I want to make sure we build this strong relationship, but I have to start from scratch.
Sure. And even looking back at the last 11 years through your entire journey in automotive retail, I mean, obviously like Minnesota, back to Texas, all this, going through 3 different opportunities with different automotive retailers. What has been one of the coolest things that you've been able to do in the last 11 years? What have been one of your favorite things?
I think it's a really close tie. One of my favorite things has been helping people on my team grow and see them start from, maybe they were a receptionist and then they joined my BDC and then they became a salesperson, and then I see them become a sales manager and they're thriving. And I just love that. I love being able to work with my people and just have them side by side and see those light bulbs go off.
Yeah.
And then see them succeed, and they are hungry for it, and they know now what's possible, and see their lives change before my eyes. Like, that is probably one of my favorite things. But I think the other thing is the work I've done with WOCAN and the work I did with Walzer, with Women of Walzer, and just being able to have some pretty cool conversations with people about how important it is to see the women in your workforce, right? And understand sometimes the conversations we have and how that impacts them and what we should be having. And also seeing women understand that there is a place for them in automotive.
For sure.
And seeing people like me, people like Dana, and people like Carrie, people like Erica, right? And seeing us in this space and just being able to influence them in a way that, like, there is a space for you in automotive. We see you, we hear you.
I love that.
And we want to work with you.
Man, Ashley, that's so great. So obviously you're very good at connecting with people, collaborating with people. Where can people find you if they wanted to ask you a question?
I think the best place is LinkedIn.
Sure.
Definitely reach out to me there. If it's so funny, we were having this conversation though a few times here at ASOTU, which is one of the great things about ASOTU Con, is we can have these honest conversations and there's no judgment. But I would just say, reach me on LinkedIn. But if you're trying to sell me a product, do not message me on LinkedIn. Let's try to connect some other way. But yeah, if you want to get to know me, you want to just talk, definitely reach out on LinkedIn and we'll go from there.
Ashley, I love that. Everything you're about, everything Dana's about, helping people, connecting with them, collaborating with them, just making everybody better, because you know that the industry is a place for everybody. I love that. Exactly. So Ashley, thanks for taking a few minutes out today.
Yeah, thank you, Jordan. And, thank you for always having that smile on your face. It's like my other good friend, James Claus, who's walking by right now and does not hear me, but those are the type of people we love in this industry that you're going to see. And no matter what kind of mood you're having, you're like, I can't help but smile because I'm talking to Jordan.
Ashley, thanks so much for the kind compliment. That's so nice.